What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what really moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO did close 0.21% in the green, which is rather surprising because I would have anticipated for it to be a lot higher based on a lot of things I'm going to be kind of talking on. But still, I guess green is green. 484 the high, 475 the low. So it did trade within a set range today. So that'll make a lot more sense once I go over the technicals. And 34 million shares being traded. So rather light for that. When it comes down to NIO, there was a couple of things that came out that really helped push it higher. Because keep in mind, one thing that really always suppresses NIO is algorithmic trading. And a lot of my watch list was very, very red because of some mixed data that came out. So for NIO to actually close in the green on a very bad day, I think that's definitely deserving of a round of applause. But a couple of things did come out. One was this. So NIO cuts ES8 delivery wait time for third time since September. It's not anything significant, so don't jump up and down just yet with excitement. But it looks like they did cut it down to 17 to 18 weeks from originally 24 to 26. So nothing too crazy, but still really does signal that they're kind of improving. Being a little bit more efficient, and plus that there's a lot of good demand. This is exactly what obviously pushes NIO higher through algorithmic trading, is just demand. Market loves to hear anything about demand and also launches. So this definitely did do fairly good today. One other thing came out was this. So even though NIO itself doesn't have a booth at CES 2026, looks like they were getting some free advertisement through Dolby and Ambilight. So pretty good stuff for that. So yeah, honestly, nothing wrong with that. So it looks like ET9 and ET5T were at CES. So free advertisement is always good. This, in my opinion, isn't a good reason to buy NIO. It's just a good FYI. One thing that did come out yesterday, though, that I'm surprised that more people aren't really talking about is this. Because we've seen NIO in the past, whenever there's kind of trade talks with the EU, people get optimistic, very, very optimistic, and essentially pushes NIO higher. Institutions love to kind of push NIO higher based on that, and other EVs as well. But China seeks discussions with the EU on a free trade agreement. And based on a lot of stats, like China, not just NIO, but Chinese EVs are kicking ass and taking names in Europe. So, and based on NIO's bigger plan, I think 2026, there's going to be a lot of big expansion in Europe at the same time. So if for whatever reason they do decide to lower the EV tariffs, this would be a massive catalyst. And like I said, in the past, it really did help push NIO to kind of the next level. And right now, NIO's kind of teetering. So it definitely does need that nice gentle push to kind of save it. Because it looks like from the technicals that there's going to be some further consolidation, but the next couple of trading days are going to be key for that. So I'll go over that in a second. Aside from that, shorts did increase 136,000 shares. 8.41% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 171 million shares overall being shorted. DTC sitting at 3.3 days. So still does signal that shorts are relatively overextended. From this, it doesn't look like shorts actually did much throughout the whole trading day at all. At the peak, maybe they were increasing about 1.5 million. So they were trying their very best first thing to kind of hit it. And so this dip right here was them. But looks like they kind of let up and didn't really do all that much. So we did have a lot of barcoding today. So it's definitely needing to hold that 477 range, general range. But looking at the options, 2.6 million in calls, 1.5 in puts, and then 40% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. Some big numbers obviously coming in about 10 minutes before the market does close. So that's always interesting to see. So you had 133,000 in premiums between 250 and 255. If we kind of pop this open just to kind of look at it, organize it based on premium. So it looks like the largest ones were considered neutral, and that's just simply because of the size. So it is rather difficult to distinguish whether those are kind of optimistic or bearish or whatever else, but it was a $3 put. and expiry date June 18th, 2026. In my opinion, based on all of this, I would say leans more towards the bullish side rather than anything, but what do I know? Aside from that, we did have, from a bull standpoint, a lot of optimism for it to recover to that $5 range by the end of Friday. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 450. So you kind of have it back and forth, and with it at 478, that's where it closed. It's pretty much smack dab in the middle between the two. From the secondary market, we only had one transaction occurring on that above $100,000. It was a buy, but still a buy is a buy, I guess, which it does look like it was for $102,000. So good to see at least one institution paying attention to NIO. Aside from that, these are all the transactions that did occur on the dark pool. So the fact that shorts were a little bit more active in the morning, obviously fair to assume that we can code some of these as linked to them. So we had 4.4, 2.1, 1.9. That was kind of morning and near the power hour for the most part. The rest, you do see a lot of hold numbers. So hedge funds were a little bit more involved today. So definitely good to see. Still, on a side note, no new analyst ratings. So I checked both the ADR and Hong Kong listings, still no ratings, which is absolutely crazy. The fact that NIO can actually put out these numbers on January the 1st, a full week passes, and we have no ratings whatsoever. So I guess analysts don't really care. Maybe they're just waiting for NIO's actual earnings. Who knows? Still, aside from that, with it closing at 479, right above this S2, and actually during the kind of after hours, it's exactly on this 478. So this right now, like I said, NIO does need that nice gentle push to get it off of this virtual cliff, because if it does break below this 478, in theory, the next strong support is 446. So you might be seeing some consolidation. So hopefully tomorrow it's able to come out strong and really test this 497 at least over the next couple of days, but it does need to get its ass off of this S2. Aside from that though, this S2 or that general range has been kind of the saving grace. So it was tested on December the 3rd. Luckily enough, it kind of bounced off of that, but didn't have any meaningful push higher up until December the 24th. That's where it finally started to build up some good momentum, but that was rather short-lived. So next point, like I said, is going to be that 478 range. If not, then you could be seeing some kind of further consolidation, which for those of you that have been wishing for cheaper prices, that might be a dream come true. But as of right now, like I've always stated, whatever happens based on the price action does not always align with what happens operationally. So I feel like NIO, out of all the stocks I do cover or have ever covered, this has been the most disconnected stock from its operations, which is absolutely crazy. So for those of you that as well that are value investors, definitely have a deeper look at this. Of course, I'm not saying that NIO doesn't have any risks whatsoever. There's always been that overlooming geopolitical kind of scenario that just Wall Street, in my opinion, hates NIO because of that, of it just being a Chinese stock or a Chinese company overall. But yeah, if you're a value investor, eventually, similar to what happened in Tesla back in 2018 and 2017, eventually you'll have the stock price align a little bit more. It just needs to hit profitability. That is it. Let me know your thoughts on NIO. What's your viewpoint, for instance, on the EU and China potentially having some free trade agreement? That would be a pretty kick-ass thing, mind you. What's your general thoughts? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all you watching.